Hello, my friends. It's Mick Raj coming to you on Friday, September 22nd. I just had a few random thoughts I wanted to run by you. Some of you may know that there is a date that is heavily signaled in popular culture, movies, music videos, TV shows, and it seems to be September 23rd. September 22nd is also brought up a lot as well. So it is possibly something that happens on both of those days, or a precursor happens on the 22nd, maybe something follow-up of some kind happens on the 23rd. And some people say it has nothing to do with a date. But just like 9/11, 9/11 was seen all throughout many, many movies, TV shows. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just look up 9/11 compilations, things, movies and TV shows that showed very significant references to 9/11 before it happened. You can find it. There's some things on YouTube, definitely some things on Rumble. And now if you look up these 9/23 compilations, there are many of them. Here's one right here. Here's a list of ones that my wife and I watched last night. Anyway, here's a few more of these compilations. There's literally hours of nothing but references to 923. Sometimes it's 922, and sometimes it's 239. Of course, in most of the world, the date would be written 239, right? The 23rd of September. Most places write the day first, then the month, then the year. You know, they go from the smallest to the biggest. In the United States, we do the month first for some reason. So there's lots of references to 923 as well as 239, which to, the people at the top who practice numerology, these are essentially the same numbers. Now, I'm not saying anything's going to happen tomorrow, but I do find it interesting that there was this fairly noteworthy attack on the Russian Black Sea Fleet headquarters today. Okay, now a lot of people were saying that this base had the best air defenses and general defenses of any military strategic location in Russia's strongholds in eastern Ukraine, in Crimea or the Donbass. And yet Ukraine was able to hit it. It seems like it did extensive damage. I don't know all of the details, but many, many news outlets, including mainstream media like CNN, are reporting on it. Now, the thing about this is I'm sure that the mainstream media is trying to spin this as like a victory for Ukraine, which, it may be. And again, I have nothing against the people of the Ukraine. I have nothing against the people of Russia. But what we need to keep in mind here is this celebrating, yay, Ukraine's going to win. Russia has said repeatedly that if they feel they are losing this war, if they are getting backed into a corner, they will use nuclear weapons. Now, for something like this, the retaliation is probably just going to be a tactical nuke on the battlefield, if that, right? But we'll see. The thing that I'm getting at is if we do see any kind of nuclear retaliation on Saturday, September 23rd, many of you are probably watching this on Saturday, September 23rd, 239. A lot of people are saying the significance of that number in popular culture, in movies and music and TV shows, is not just the date, and it could be the date. If we see something happen tomorrow, then I'll say, yes, it was the date. But they're talking about plutonium 239. Plutonium 239 is the most common. It is the primary fissile isotope used for the production of nuclear weapons. Okay? So maybe that's why we're seeing it. Now, wouldn't it just be like the powers that be, who like to script everything, who like to tell us beforehand what's going to happen? For them to use plutonium-239 based weapons on 23/9, the 23rd of September. Might not be this year, but again, they like those repeating numbers. So the 9/23/23 for the US, or the 23/9/23 for the rest of the world. They like the repeating numbers. That's why they like 11. That's why they like 22. That's why they really love 33. That's why they like 666. That's why a lot of the numbers that you're going to see contain repeated numerals. So I'm just saying, tomorrow, if we see even a tactical nuclear strike, I believe that is us witnessing us moving into the age of nuclear war. And I think that we may see a full-on nuclear exchange before this entire thing is through. Not tomorrow, maybe not even next year. Sometime in this decade is what I'm betting on, and I'm not saying that to fearmonger. I'm saying that to let you know, be ready. Be ready for anything, because the Russians and many other nations, but especially Russia, they have fallout shelters. They have nuclear fallout shelters, enormous ones, in every one of their major cities. They don't really have that anymore in the U.S. Yeah, certain old schools and public buildings may have fallout shelters, but, I'm thinking a lot of people are just going to be hiding out in their basements, trying to weather the fallout, and just, anyway. We live in strange times, and the powers that be are they're cooking up something pretty crazy. And what we just saw in Crimea, for those of you who think that this is a victory for Ukraine, yeah, maybe it is, but Russians have said that this is existential for them. They truly believe that NATO is going to surround them and then eventually take them over, replace the Russian government with another Western-friendly puppet government. They know how NATO rolls. They know how the United States rolls. They will launch nuclear weapons in order to preserve their country and their way of life. And I don't see any reason why we should doubt Vladimir Putin when he says he's going to use his nuclear weapons to preserve his country. So the more we see these victories with Ukrainian military using, British and American weaponry, I'm just saying that's not time to celebrate, folks. That's time to seriously get ready for something cray-cray. And I'm saying 239, plutonium-239, primary, what did I say? Fissile isotope used in the production of nuclear weapons. Tomorrow is 239. We saw a major attack on a Russian, I guess this was a naval headquarters for the Black Sea Fleet. And some people are saying that it did indeed take out the, I don't know if he was an admiral or whatever their equivalent of that is. Here it is. We're seeing from Jay in Kiev. He has tweeted that there are rumors that the commander of the Russian Navy, Commander Viktor Sokolov, has been killed in this strike. So, once again, that could be a big deal if it's true. And if Russia's feeling backed into a corner, I would not be surprised if we saw at least tactical nukes being used here and there. And if that happens, NATO, the United States, is going to join in. They're going to respond in kind. And it's going to escalate from there. So, batten down the hatches, folks. It's going to be an interesting time moving forward. Again, I don't think the U.S. cities are going to get nuked sky high tomorrow, but if we see anything like that, any kind of escalation in the coming days, you can bet that there's more to come. Again, just be prepared. Be prepared, people. Being psychologically prepared is half the battle, in my opinion. And if you want to, just get ready for financial hardship, nutritional scarcity, things like that. It doesn't hurt to buy a few extra cans of beans when you're at the grocery store. It doesn't hurt to take out a handful of cash to have on hand in case the banking system goes haywire. It doesn't hurt to just have a plan. If you live in a highly populated area, to have a bug out plan can't hurt. I mean, if anything, just do your bug out plan for a camping trip, make it fun, because, I'm enjoying my life day to day. I'm not like cowering in a bunker somewhere. But just know that things are going to get cray-cray. All right, everybody, that's about it. Just this one headline. I was thinking something might happen today, and people, they're trying to downplay it too, I think. But yeah, anytime this kind of thing happens, the people who kind of side with Russia, they want to downplay it because they don't want to admit that Russians are suffering any losses. And then the people who are rooting for Ukraine are like, yay, it's almost over. Neither one of those things is true, and neither one of those things would be a good thing. Because again, the Russians have promised to launch nuclear weapons, and we have no reason to doubt them. Anyway, Viktor Sokolov may be aus der Spiel. There it is. It doesn't look totally devastated, to be honest, but if they took out the head of the Russian fleet, that's somewhat of a big deal. Now, we've heard rumors, of course, that Prigozhin was taken out a long time ago, and now people are saying Prigozhin is just fine. Whether he's truly in this or not, who the heck knows. Just stay alert, people. If you start hearing about escalation, if you start hearing about NATO officially getting involved, then it's on and crack-a-lackin'. And as a side note, there are tons of people saying that the rapture is going to happen. I know tomorrow is a big rapture date, the 23rd, because, there's the back in September of 2017, there was the sign of the woman clothed with the sun, which is a very interesting phenomenon. You can look that up if you don't know about it. It's, many people say it was biblical prophecy being fulfilled. I tend to think that the formation that happened around the constellation Virgo, and it was, I think, 9 stars and 3 planets at her head, which the verse says that there would be 12 stars at her head. And in it, other people downplay it, say it's not that rare. It was quite rare. What's happening now is Virgo is giving birth to an asteroid named Child. And then other people say, the asteroid doesn't count. That's silly to think an asteroid going through this constellation means anything biblical. And then they say, but what is biblically significant is that like 3 days later, this comet comes through. And there's comet Nishimura passing through Virgo. And people, some people say that that's going to be the rapture. Other people saying the rapture is going to happen on the 26th or the 29th. And they, because reasons. I personally don't believe in the pre-trib rapture, and we can argue about that until we're blue in the face. We both have scriptures that'll back up why we believe what we believe. I think that's it's dangerous to call other people unbelievers on that sort of basis, but at the same time, I strongly believe what I do believe. In all likelihood, there will not be any nuclear response, and if so, I think we have more time. Let's hope. Adios, muchachos. Have a good weekend.